Buenas noches. Good evening. I will begin by acknowledging our esteemed partners and wonderful individuals who made tonight's gala possible. First, thank you to our corporate friends. You are a very special part of the LULAC familia. Please know how much we appreciate your generous support of this event and for steadfastly standing with LULAC in its mission. AT&T, Celeste, Tanya, thank you. Thank you for supporting our work as presenting sponsors. Please help me thank the following gold and platinum level sponsors: Coca-Cola, Verizon, Univision Communications, T-Mobile, AARP, Charter Communications, Pharma, and the Ford Motor Company Fund. Also, to our bronze and silver table sponsors, to each and all, from all of us, a big thank you del corazón. Also, please let me acknowledge our amazing team of colleagues, interns, and LULAC members who worked so hard to plan, organize, and make sure that this special event was a success for you. Y lo es. Gracias. Oftentimes, we acknowledge the team that serves our food and prepares the meal, and I know them by name. Thank you, Mr. Quiroga, Diego, Leonardo, Tania, who ensured that today's meal was delicious, and to Federico Barahona, who is working with the entire crew around this room to make this possible. Gracias. I want to recognize President Garcia and Dr. Garcia for their tenacity and always being ready to defend and protect our community. Y como le he dicho antes, el presidente Garcia no le tiene miedo a nada ni a nadie. Gracias, Presidente Garcia. I would also like our national board, past President Flores, our LULAC Council presidents, and members to please stand up. LULAC members, stand up. Our national board, President Flores, our national president, por favor, levántense. We are powerful because of your service and your love of our community. El corazón de LULAC son nuestros miembros. You are what makes LULAC so powerful. Thank you. Also, on a personal note, I want to thank Ms. Lupe, who is here in the audience. You see, a long time ago, she served as the parent liaison at T.C. Williams High School. And at that time, my counselor told me I should consider other options instead of college, even as an AP student with good grades. But Ms. Lupe didn't give up on me. Not only did I get accepted with scholarships and full rides, but when I graduated from Virginia State University, I did so in 3 years and as class valedictorian. Thank you, Ms. Lupe, for always believing in me. You changed my life, and I could not be here on this stage without you being part of that journey. Another person I want to express my gratitude is Lenny Gonzalez. You see, at the tender age of 22, Lenny taught me through her own actions how you build community and teach others how to harness their own potential and use it. Lenny also introduced me to LULAC. Hermana, I'm forever indebted to you for showing me selflessness and teaching me that we must persist, even when the odds are against us. You taught me that we have to create our own path, even if we're the ones that are building it. You taught me to pull up my own chair, even when I'm not accepted at the table as a Latina. Gracias. Thank you for that, Lenny. To my husband, Carlos, who missed out last year because he was taking care of our babies, and my familia, mis padres, thank you for the daily prayers, your support, and your love, and making sure that I am doing what I do every day. Thank you, babe. Our power and purpose could not be clearer than it is today. But think of it. LULAC was born on February 17, 1929, by courageous leaders who understood that in the midst of discrimination and injustice, our vision had to be firmly and unequivocally fixed on unity, juntos, and that our collective power could transform society's norms even back then in those dark years for Latinos, and that by today's standards, it would be unlawful and considered discrimination, even in the shadow of Mother Liberty and her promise of welcoming and embracing those who come to its shores. And I want to note also for those whose borders have crossed over them. In these 91 years since LULAC has fought in the courts, marched in the streets, and organized in our communities, 91 years, and the work of our members and leaders has taught us the power of perseverance, the wisdom of patience, and the strength of unshakable determination. As important, the example of our founders and that of LULAC's loyal men, women, and yes, our youth has affirmed time and again, our standards must always be high and our grace deep. We must never forget the difficult legal battles we have fought, nor the ones we're still fighting today. Whether it's protecting our children and farm workers from harmful pesticides, or protecting the right to vote, LULAC has not stopped in the past, will not stop today, nor will it stop tomorrow. We will stand up to the opposition and prevail, even when the hurdles seem insurmountable and the barriers impenetrable. And believe me, there are many days when we feel like we're fighting David fighting a multitude of Goliaths from every corner of our country. Indeed, the forces we face are powerful, fierce, determined, and unrelenting. We are living in dangerous times. We're surrounded by a political climate where individuals are scheming on how to undermine the power of an entire community for decades to come. Yet this is our reply. We are woke, we are awake, and we are alert. We see their tactics, whether it's trying to add a citizenship question to the census or trying to sabotage our turnout at the polls, but making it harder to vote, including purging voters, strict voter ID laws, changing polling locations, eliminating same-day voting, misinformation, and long waiting lines. We see it all, and we must and will continue to act as LULAC. We must resist, speak up, unite, and defend our future by voting. Please, right now, for those of you who have not already put it on your calendars, add November 3rd to your phone. Because November 3rd is a big day in America, and it's the day that Latinos will show America their political power. A votar, pero ya. This is the moment, this is our moment, and we will make sure we turn out to vote. Yes, we are living in dangerous time. There is a current war on women. Women across the country are being denied options, denied their birthright to have the ability to choose. And yet I'm hopeful, because even when our very own existence is denied, we persist and we rise. Even when we earn 53 cents to the dollar, not only do we survive, we thrive. But from before the sun is up to long after it sets, nosotras las mujeres get creative and we make the best that we can while pushing boundaries and systems for ourselves and for our families. You see, we are overcomers. We overcome even when we are undermined and are called names so offensive, names that would never be used against a male in our society. Under our watch, let's eliminate the pay gap. Let's ensure that countless families are able to take paid medical and maternity leave in one of the richest countries in the world. And let's do it now. My call, mi pedido, es este: that we as women continue to push for equality, whether it's in the courts, the boardroom, or serving in public office. Let nothing or no one deter you, mujeres. And yes, we also invite our male allies and counterparts to join us in this lucha. Indeed, we're living in dangerous times. So let us take a moment in our minds and in our hearts to remind everyone of El Paso, and also highlight that for decades, our Jewish and African American and LGBTQI community have had targets on their backs too. Thank you, Representative Escobar, for highlighting our beautiful history, especially at the border, one of the safest cities in the entire country. You see, El Paso helped our nation see the terrible price that is paid when you call an entire community invaders. There are painful and terrible consequences that cannot be undone. When you spew hate crimes increase, and people die. And I want you to understand this. Our own identity was used as a weapon against us in El Paso, nuestra identidad. So we must keep our eyes lifted to the hills, knowing that one day our ethnicity and our ancestral heritage will not be used as a weapon against us. America's Latino community is standing up, we are uniting, and we are rising above white supremacy, bigoted disinformation, and hate. To our hermanos and hermanas en Venezuela, que su día de libertad y democracia llegue pronto. We pray for the future and the freedom of Venezuela's people under a democracy, not a dictatorship. Please lift your heads, your voices, in hope and joy. We know victory will come because the world cannot and will not abandon them. To our Venezuelan diaspora here in the U.S., estamos con ustedes, y que viva Venezuela libre. Now, to our beloved brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, we cannot, must not, will not ever forget you. Los apreciamos muchísimo. However, that alone is not enough. Les prometo esto hoy y aquí. As CEO of LULAC, I will continue to make sure that members of Congress hear our voices loud and clear. Puerto Rico is a priority, and we will not stop, we will never stop in fighting and eliminating discrimination against any member of our community, no matter where they call home, including nuestra bella isla. I want to thank Mayor Mayita Melendez of Ponce, Major Nelson Torres Giordano of Guayanilla, and Major Luillo Torres of Jaco for joining us today. You will be hearing from them in short minutes. I also want to acknowledge State Representative Quiquito Melendez and his wife, Mariel Ramos. I could not leave the stage without thanking our LULAC Puerto Rico leadership, Elsie Valdez, Yvonne, Jenny, Carmen, and the hundreds of LULAC members on the island who, without being asked, are presente. Ustedes nos inspiran y su espíritu de hermandad y propósito nos conmueve profundamente. I also want to thank all of our LULAC members who donated online to make sure that needed resources were getting to the island. And I want to especially acknowledge our Chief of Staff, Roman Palomares, for his direct organizing efforts. So, this is my call to action for you. It's not enough to tweet or post on Facebook or Instagram, or to put a sticker on your laptop or your water bottle. That's a start. But we can each do more. We must create war rooms. War rooms in our kitchens, in our living rooms, in our dorm rooms, in our cars. We must come together like never before because our future and the future of our children depend on it. Our very life depends on it. Let's unite, run for office in packs, uplift one another, believe in each other, harness our potential, and take that power to ignite a movement that is Latino-led and inspired. Because our future journey is one that will be walked in freedom across this entire land. Remove the shackles of shame and the chains of uncertainty or feeling less than others want you to be. And may our individual and collective legacy be the unquenchable spirit of our faith and that burning fire of our determination to have every person we touch know LULAC vive. LULAC lives. LULAC is on the move, and we will prevail, and we will protect and defend our community, even if our lives are on the line. We are American. Somos Americanos. Our blood, sweat, and tears have been shed for this country. Even when we're called names, we must lift our heads proudly towards our Creator. Rise up against the ignorance and hate. Rise up to tear down the walls of division. Rise up to overcome bigoted racial pride and the sickness of cult individualism. Yes, we will rise up to uphold our belief in equality and free ourselves from fear of those who do not see us for who we are. You see, we are stars. We must rise up to lead in justice and solidarity. We must rise up to take our place in our power, because together we rise, because we owe it to our parents and our parents' parents and everyone who has fought for our equality and right to exist. Together, juntos, we rise, because we still yearn to be free. And let's never forget that regardless of who may be in power, we, nosotros, united as a community, have the power. For my organizers in the room, who has the power? Who has the power? Who has the power? We must rise up, unite, protect, and defend, because juntos, together, we rise. Juntos somos más. Gracias y que Dios los bendiga.